Hello and welcome back once again to After the Credits. So there may be a bit of a continuity error here because I finished recording the last set of videos and then I redid the wall, started recording the new set, got most of the way through the new set, and I was like, okay, let me get caught up on some more editing. So I'm going through and editing, and I swear I recorded and edited this video already, but when I was going back through to start prepping stuff for upload to YouTube, I seem to be missing a video. So I've looked back through, can't find it anywhere, can't find the original recording, can't find the edit, and can't find the finalized version, so apparently I somehow missed this one or misplaced it. I don't know how. So now I'm going to attempt to redo it, but there's going to be a continuity error because if I have the new wall and try and put it in before the wall should have been changed, you guys are going to know. So I'll probably just add it in at the time that I actually recorded this, which will be probably about 3 weeks after I actually watched it and recorded it, but things happen, right? So today we're talking about Blade Runner 2049, the sequel to Blade Runner that came out back in 85-ish, 83, somewhere around there. I'm not good with years in movies. Everything kind of blends together from my childhood. So I actually hadn't seen the original Blade Runner in quite some time, so I actually rewatched Blade Runner before going in to see this one, just so I was up to date on any little nods or anything to the original one, which really you don't have to be, other than knowing who Harrison Ford's character is. Other than that, it really doesn't tie in directly at all. Most of what you need to know about the original is told on the text crawl at the beginning. So what did I think of this overall? It was pretty much as boring as the original one was, and I know I'm probably going to get slammed for that because a lot of people love the original, but I went back and watched the original to prepare for this one, and I remembered why I don't remember much about the original is I found it really boring. Nothing really happens until the end, and then the ending just kind of pitters out, and that's kind of what you get out of this one too. It's a similar story, it's akin to the same thing, but slightly different telling, slightly different way of handling the situation, which actually makes for a little bit more of an interesting story, but it carries it off really almost to the same level of boredom that the original one did. So for those of you who don't know Blade Runner, the original one is about Earth in the year 2019, and they have synthetic humans that are called replicants. They're basically designed to do work tasks in areas that humans can't do or that's dangerous because they're replicants. They're basically kind of like robots that can kind of make more human decisions, I guess you could say. But over the course of time, a few of them start to go rogue, so they have this group of police force called the Blade Runners who run down the ones who have gone rogue and basically destroy them. So in the original Blade Runner, the one that's kind of gone rogue, he hasn't gone like completely rogue, he just kind of realizes that his series of replicant have all been designed to only live 4 years, and he wants to try and get in touch with like the creator or someone who can help them to basically get out of the 4-year cycle and live longer. So then Harrison Ford's character is called in because he's a Blade Runner to hunt down these rebel replicants, and he manages to catch up with them a few different times and they manage to get away. And there's always the hinted at background story of, is Harrison Ford a replicant himself, which a lot of people still argue no, but the writer and director have all said yes, and it's telegraphed through different points in the movie, but people kind of gloss over it. And it's kind of hinted at that he's a different type of replicant that can live longer than 4 years, even though once the rebel replicants actually talk to the creator, he's like, we were never able to solve this. There's nothing we can do. You can't live past 4 years. And what I took away from that is he was able to solve it in future generations, but not if you already exist. If you already exist, sorry, that's just your bad luck. And basically implying that Harrison Ford is part of the new generation of replicant, along with this other girl that's introduced in the movie. But Harrison Ford doesn't seem to have a lot of the same strengths as the other replicants. He can't jump great distances, he can't lift heavy loads, things like that. So he's a lot more humanistic than the other replicants, but at the same time it is confirmed that he was one. So the first movie culminates with Harrison Ford and this rebel replicant leader squaring off in this epic fight, and it comes down to where Harrison Ford's basically lost and the replicant has the upper hand, and he's about to kill him, and then he kind of realizes that his 4 years is up and he's about to expire any minute, so he just kind of stops the fight, saves Harrison Ford from falling off the building, and he's like, you know, it would have been nice to live longer. Sorry about all this, and then just dies. And that's kind of the end of the first one. So in this one, for those of you who now are caught up on the backstory, it's 30 years later, hence 2049, because we went from 2019 to 2049. There is a new group of replicants who are more well designed to know that they're replicants and know their place in society, but there's still some of the old generation of replicants that are out there floating around that tried to hide from being decommissioned. So now we have the new main Blade Runner who's going out trying to hunt all these replicants down, and through the course of him hunting things down, he finds out that one of the replicants was able to conceive a child, which should have been impossible, and that if the other replicants know that this is possible, then they might rebel because they realize they're more human and they're supposed to have more rights and blah blah blah. So the Blade Runner organization wants to keep this whole baby thing under wraps. So now he's on the mission to try to erase all knowledge of this baby existing. And over the course of it, he finds out that he may also be a replicant, and he may also be the child. Go figure, because that's how these movies play out, right? So his whole story arc is trying to figure out, one, if he's actually a replicant, which he finally realizes that he is, and two, is he this child, or are these implanted memories of someone else? Which, it keeps leading you to believe that he is this child, but the only way he can be 100% sure is to go hunt down Harrison Ford, who is the father of the child, and basically kind of confirm with him, am I your son or not? And eventually he ends up meeting up with Harrison Ford, and through some technological BS, they're able to track down Harrison Ford, who's one of the last outstanding replicants that they have to hunt down. So they kind of use this as a decoy to hunt down Harrison Ford and finally take him out. So then the new Blade Runner guy has to go in and save Harrison Ford before he's killed. And then once he rescues Harrison Ford, he finds out the truth of whether or not he is Harrison Ford's son or not. And that's kind of the end of the movie. It wraps up from there, but I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to spoil it if you're actually interested in the Blade Runner films. But that's basically the rundown of the movie. So, like I said, it's an interesting story concept, but it's basically almost like 2.5 hours, I think, of lead up to nothing. And it's like, we're trying to build this story and like give you clues, but they don't go anywhere. And it just seems like a lot of time was wasted going through this, and they could have tightened it up a lot, cut it down to 1.5 hours, cut out a lot of the BS of just meandering around and like overly heavily dialogue for exposition dump and all this. You really didn't need all of it. They could have tightened it up, but again, the original Blade Runner had the same problem. It was really long and really boring because it's nothing but exposition through the entire thing. When, that whole adage of show don't tell would have worked out a lot better, but they were trying to make it a mystery and didn't want to telegraph everything by showing it to you, so let's talk about it, and is he or isn't he? And this one ran into the same problem, trying to follow in that same vein. So what would I give it as far as a star rating? I don't know, I guess a 3. If you like Blade Runner, you'll probably like this one. If you were like me and found Blade Runner really boring, probably shy away from this one. It does have a slightly better story, plays out a little bit more coherent than the first one did, but overall it still runs into the same problems that the first one did. So if you're not a fan of Blade Runner, don't watch it. Other than that, it's just kind of a mediocre film. It's middle of the road. It's watchable, but it's not as entertaining as I would like. So yeah, it gets a 3. So that's it for this episode. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are down in the description. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications every time I post new content. Until next time, I'll see you after the credits.